It is so great having Kevin Lee back here on the program. He's going to be making his Eagle FC debut. We're hearing March 11th, going to be in Miami, Florida. Kevin, how's it going, man? Live from the presser.
It's amazing. Just finished the presser a few minutes ago, but everything went great. You know, walking into the building, I can feel the energy, and it's going to be good to make that a new home.
Yeah. When did Eagle FC come on your radar? Because obviously we heard the news about you being released. When were they? When did they first contact you?
So Ali reached out to me. It's been a few weeks now. We had a lot of conversations, a lot of back and forth, and we finally decided not too long ago. So it made sense.
At what point did you and Khabib sort of bury the hatchet? Because I know for a while, you guys were kind of rivals, and I'm sure that was part of you agreeing to do this, was that everything had to be cool.
Yeah, there was always a mutual respect between us. You know, there was never a point in any time when I wanted to fight him where I got like disrespectful about it or showed that I didn't respect him. I mean, I obviously wanted to fight him because I did. So I think underneath all of it, we didn't even have to have a conversation. Like we kind of both already knew. You know, you can kind of look in his eyes and tell. Just from that.
We know that PFL had also apparently had some interest in you. Were there ever serious talks about you joining PFL?
Yeah, PFL was on the radar. A lot of people were. I got a lot of different offers from a lot of different promotions. It's just this one made sense, and especially with Khabib running it and already being a great champ, I could kind of look to him and believe that he's behind me. You know what I mean? He's fought before. He's been a champ. He knows what it's like. So it just made more sense than all the other guys.
And Bellator came out and said they weren't interested. Were you a little bit surprised by that, especially with the fact that your brother's part of their promotion as well?
No, because I wasn't interested in Bellator. So
okay, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. No, it's like, if you ask a girl out and then she says no, and then you say he was ugly anyway, she didn't want you to know it.
Right. Yeah. No. That line of thinking. Wouldn't it have kind of been cool though to have you and Keith fight in the same promotion? Though, did that ever cross your mind?
Sure. I mean, I think he's going to go with a different promotion too. I'm not really, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what Bellator's what they got going on.
And this is at 165. How much of a factor was that with you signing with Eagle FC? I'm sure the money's good too, but I'm sure 165 was a big driving force.
Yeah, that was big. That was huge. Not only will my body feel better and I feel like this is my proper weight class, but it's brand new. So that means I get to be the inaugural champion for any MMA promotion. And I think in the future, once we get away from like UFC being the top dog and all this, that those things are going to write well in history. So to be the first 165 world champion means a lot to me.
Have you been told your first fight will be a title fight, or are you still working out the details?
So they're going to do a few fights before a title fight. Well, that number, I don't necessarily know. I don't know when they're going to introduce titles. I think maybe at the end of the year, but my first fight will be in March.
Excellent. And how many fights is your deal with Eagle FC?
So right now it's for 4 fights, and then we'll go from there.
Interesting. And are you allowed to go take other opportunities? I'm sure not MMA, but would you be allowed to box, for example?
Yeah, there's an opportunity to co-promote it at one point in the future with other promotions or however we're going to do. I think that's one of the big factors in getting me to sign with the two is the freedom that it'll give me, not to just be tied down as you are with the UFC.
And we also heard that apparently you're going to be paid in Bitcoin. Is this accurate?
Yeah, entirely in Bitcoin. I'll be the first mixed martial artist to be paid in Bitcoin. So making a little bit of history all over the board,
Was that something you pitched to them or they pitched to you about getting paid in Bitcoin?
So we, my manager and my team at CAA, they worked on it and they didn't give me any pushback when asked about it. So it kind of goes to show like how forward thinking they are. And they've already talked about setting up things to do in metaverse and different ways to broadcast and all these things. So, yeah, it's that was also a big part of the factor.
Well, I think it's awesome. I've had Bitcoin for years. I think cryptocurrency is the future. So I was really excited to hear that. Do you know if any other fighters are getting paid in Bitcoin as well, or is it just you?
I'm the first one. I'm pretty sure many people will follow suit, especially as this thing takes off even more. But to be paid in Bitcoin, it gives me a lot of financial freedom. You know what I mean? It gives me a lot of security where I don't even necessarily have to fight, which is going to make me fight so much better because I'm not so worried about it. Yeah, I think it's going to be something that other people follow suit with.
The other bombshell you dropped is that you're moving to Miami and you're moving your whole camp over there. Any idea where you're going to be training, or are you going to sort of create your own camp?
I'm gonna train at Sanford MMA. I've been there a few times already, trained a little bit, but now I will actually train there. I'll still obviously train with Faraz Zahabi and TriStar, but we'll work out how that relationship works. I already know there's a few people who already do that, who are training at Sanford, but still use Faraz and still use some of the other trainers from TriStar. So that door is already open.
What was the connection for you to Sanford? I was curious about that.
Honestly, it just kind of came about, you know. I started spending more time down here in Miami. I've got some family, so it just kind of came about. I'm trying to think who was the first person that introduced me to Sanford. I think it might have been Derek Brunson. Yeah, I think it might have been Derek Brunson. He told me to go over, and then I met Michael Chandler, and yeah.
Okay, that's excellent, and a wealth of welterweights too there as well. I mean, are you excited about getting to train with guys like LowKick and Burns, who are at 170, which is closer to the weight class you're going to be competing at?
Yeah, and then you got a lot of guys who are above our weight class too, like Tyron Spong that I can learn from to get to work with Henry Hoof, and there's a lot of potential for growth being at Stanford for sure, and like you said, great training partners and guys that I didn't even know were there, who are really good.
Any ideas on who your first opponent can be? Have you been hearing any names, or are there any? Because I know the one great thing about the promotion is Khabib said, look, this is not a Russian promotion. We're going to get guys from the U.S. as well. Are you hearing any names at all about a first opponent?
Yeah, I've heard Diego Sanchez's name being thrown around. Diego would be a great first fight. Yeah, we'll put on the war. So I think Diego Sanchez is where we're looking at.
Is there a possibility of you going back to the UFC in the future? Or do you think this is it? You're just going to continue, fighting for Eagle FC or somewhere else?
To be honest, I'm not too excited about going and just being a part of any type of fold. Just be one of the guys. If I do, it'll be maybe a co-promotion or something like that. Possibly. Only reason I would go back now is for a rematch with Charles Oliveira. So if they come back with that, give me a direct rematch with Charles, then okay, yeah. Otherwise, I'm gonna go about my business and wish him the best of luck.
Speaking of Charles, what did you think of his win over Dustin Poirier last weekend?
It was incredible. He can fight. And so I knew he was gonna be champ like halfway through our fight. So yeah, it was incredible. It was a good fight.
And I got to ask you quickly about the co-main event with Julianna getting the win over Amanda Nunes. Were you surprised by that? I think a lot of people were.
Yeah. I mean, I just like everybody, But then again, I wasn't, because anybody can lose. We build up all these people to be just these unstoppable forces, but at the end of the day, she's a human too. We have off days. I think that was one of her off days, and yeah, it was incredible to see Julianna pull that out. But to be honest, I'm not like wow, you know what I mean? Like super. I could never believe this happened.
There's a big fight going on this weekend. Woodley and Paul 2. Who's your pick? Who do you think gets it done?
I'm pretty sure that the same thing's gonna happen. I don't know if Woodley can do it. I just don't. Not in a straight boxing match, To be honest, he doesn't throw his hands anymore. I know.
Yeah, for sure. And just wanted to ask what the support has been like since leaving the UFC. A lot of people felt like you were released too early, that they should have invested more time in you. How has that been, just seeing all the positive message from fellow fighters and fans, reaching out to you after the fact?
Yeah, that's that was kind of the biggest shock to me. Like I said, I was upset at first, but then I'm going all these different places and going to remote places, and people still coming up to me and recognizing and all this stuff. That gave me a lot of hope. You know what I mean? for the future and who I am, and it reminded me of who I am, and it makes me pull that out.
Are you going home for the holidays? You heading back to Michigan, or are you gonna stay out in your new home in Miami? What's the plan?
No, I'll be in Vegas. I won't be here in Miami until maybe middle of January, something like that. We're gonna work on that now before I start training.
Kevin, thanks for the time. I know you're a busy guy. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? I'll give you the last word.
I'll plug Boohoo, man. We're gonna start the next half of our relationship. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I appreciate it though.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.